Finally, Monday nights are getting a little bit raw as Liv Morgan wants to get down and dirty with Dirty Dom. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. It's time for your WWE Raw review, and let's just get straight into the segment that everybody is talking about. Liv Morgan, Dominik Mysterio. I'm seeing a lot of people complaining about this, saying that it's girly, saying that it's gay, saying that nobody wants this drama in wrestling. What are you talking about, girly? What are you talking about, gay? These are the same guys that just want 3 hours of sweaty men in tights touching each other. This is actually something good. This is someone hot, someone attractive. Liv Morgan trying to get with Dominik Mysterio, trying to steal Dominik Mysterio away from somebody. We've got some form of like love triangle in there. This is interesting. This is good. Yet for some reason, people are shitting all over it. Honestly, I don't get it. I think this is probably the most interesting, easily actually the most interesting Liv Morgan has ever been in her career. And Dominik Mysterio, he just looks like a sleazeball, so it's a perfect role for him. Anyway, with that said, let's talk about it. Liv Morgan starts the show. She says, "Welcome to the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour." She talks about revenge. People say it's never as sweet as you imagine it would taste. But that's not the case for her, because this is more sweeter than she ever thought it would be. Probably not as sweet, though, as Dominik Mysterio. She talks about all her accomplishments. She took out Rhea Ripley, only person to do it, defeated Becky Lynch and put her into early retirement. And she says the cherry on top of all this was kissing Dominik Mysterio. And then she put over the numbers that this video has been doing. So I think it got like over 40 million views in less than 24 hours. That's what she's claiming. Obviously, that 24 million views is across all social media platforms. But this, guaranteed, was the best thing on the show and the most watched thing on the show last week. It's interesting, right? It catches people's attention. People would rather watch this. You know, this is more groundbreaking than a 20 fucking match that means nothing. So she's right to talk about this, and she's not wrong. This is the kind of thing that will catch the eye. This is the kind of thing that people want to see. A hot, attractive chick on your TV screen. Yes, please. 2 guys in their tights pretending to wrestle for 20 minutes. I mean, not so much. You can get away with that when you've got great wrestlers and you've got a story behind it. But when it's just random 20-minute matches every week on Raw, nobody wants to see that. We really, really don't. Dominik Mysterio then comes out, talks about Liv Morgan trying to play games, but he wants to say his piece. And he says when Rhea comes back that she is going to kill Liv Morgan. That Rhea is not playing the same game that Liv is trying to play. Liv says that's true, but she's probably going to kill you too. And I thought it was a pretty good line there. So Liv Morgan is laughing here. She promises, though, to make it all worth Dom's while. So here we're getting a little bit of a hint here. We're going a little bit sexual on Raw. Monday Night Raw, this is what it should be, alright? This is what Raw should be, not some boring 20-minute fucking snooze fest of a match, okay? We've got something interesting going on here. Liv wants Dominik to admit that he is into her, that he's trying to help her all along. He then pushes her into the corner. He pushes him into the corner, sorry, and says she meant what she said about Rhea Ripley. She wants to take everything away from Rhea, starting with Dominik. She's going to take Dominik away. She's going to win him over. And she puts him in the corner. She's like touching him and stuff. And I've seen people say that this is like harassment, that Liv Morgan's harassing Dominik Mysterio. I mean, as pathetic as those claims are, in the world that we live in, they just could not do this with the roles reversed. If Dominik Mysterio was doing this to Liv Morgan, guarantee you there would be complaints. First of all, WWE would never have the balls to do it because it would be regarded harassment. That is true, but they would never do this. I mean, it's not harassment. Dominik Mysterio could walk away. Dominik Mysterio could say no, but it's crazy that some people are like actually complaining about this and make it out as if Liv Morgan is actually harassing. That's the kind of world we live in. This shit fucking world where, I mean, you can't do anything without somebody complaining. It's a TV show, for fuck's sake. Anyway, and people need to honestly lighten up. How many times did Chris Jericho grab Stephanie McMahon and plant lips on her instead of knocking her out? You know, how many times did that shit happen back in the day? I mean, if they'd done that now, people would be pissing their pants. Finn Balor comes out though. He tells Liv Morgan to back off. He says that nobody wants anything to do with you. None of the Judgment Day do. Finn Balor acting like Dom's daddy here. Rey Mysterio was a deadbeat dad, but maybe Finn Balor is a good dad because he comes out, he defends his wannabe son. He defends Dirty Dom. He stops Dirty Dom from being harassed, from being attacked, from being, I don't know, touched, I guess, by Liv Morgan. And it was kind of funny, but the problem you've got here is Finn Balor saying none of the Judgment Day want anything to do with you, and that's because Rhea Ripley's out, and none of them can technically, physically do anything. Well, maybe Dominic can physically do stuff with her, but not in terms of an actual aggression, violence kind of thing. And it sucks because the Judgment Day should be pissed with Liv Morgan. They should want revenge, but they can't because Rhea Ripley's the only woman in the group and she's out injured. So nobody can really do anything. They can't touch Liv Morgan. They can't attack Liv Morgan. They can't get revenge for Rhea. They have to wait on Rhea getting back. And that's kind of something that just is a little bit annoying because realistically, the Judgment Day should be annoyed. They should be pissed. They should be out for revenge, out for blood on Liv Morgan. But she's a woman and they're a bunch of men, so they can't do anything. Liv then says, okay, she will go for now, but Dominic doesn't want her to go. And then she starts playing with his hair. Dominic starts smiling. It was a good segment. Is Liv Morgan the greatest thing ever? No. I mean, promo-wise, is she great? No, but it's interesting, okay? And it's actually good that we're pushing the envelope a little bit. We're trying to push boundaries a little bit, and we're just seeing a little bit of sexuality. I do not see what is wrong with that. It's fucking perfectly normal in life for this to happen if you've got two members of the opposite sex attracted to each other. It happens in television shows. It happens in everything. I mean, Game of Thrones is considered one of the best shows of all time. How many like love interests was there in Game of Thrones? So, I mean, if you take any sort of TV series, they've all got their love interests. They've all got their love triangles or romances or whatnot. And wrestling should have that as well. Guaranteed. This Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio thing, most interesting thing on the show, but people will cry about it because it's not a wrestling match. It's not two guys touching their oily bodies for 20 minutes. I mean, fuck that shit. Anyway, we move on. Sheamus does a backstage interview. He talks about Ludwig Kaiser. He says he's pumped, and the only way you can get his respect is by putting on banger after banger after banger. I mean, what does banger after banger mean? What's the point of it? Unless you're winning, who cares? If you're putting on banger after banger but you're always losing, then what does it matter? Then we got Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. I just thought it lasted too long, considering that the finish was Sheamus. It was like a phony finish where Sheamus couldn't really continue. His leg was done. Kaiser, after working the leg of Sheamus, just got like a roll-up. So, I mean, it wasn't a convincing, decisive win here for Kaiser. It was more the fact that Sheamus was injured. He couldn't kick out. But, yeah, nah, for me, it just went on a little bit too long. It wasn't horrible, though. I mean, it was alright. I just don't think it needed to be this long. But, decent match, and we're beginning to see that maybe Kaiser isn't that bad after all. You know, he's not just some lackey, he's not just some jabroni. Maybe this guy can be some form of threat. Could he potentially hold a mid-card title? I mean, maybe. It's not beyond him. But you just wonder, would Ludwig Kaiser do better away from Gunther? Because Imperium, outside of Gunther, were doing absolutely nothing. Look at the Italian guy whose name I can't even remember. What was he doing? What was he achieving? Nothing. At least Ludwig Kaiser has got a little bit of individuality about him. That other guy was just there. I mean, he was literally just there to polish his head and take a pinfall. I mean, that was pretty much it. We're inside the Judgment Day's clubhouse. Dominic is in trouble for Finn Balor. Finn Balor says you're playing with fire, and you're going to get burnt, laddie. You're going to get burnt and you play with fire. So, yeah, he tells him that. Then your priest walk in. He wants to basically, I don't know, he wants to punish, he wants to discipline Dominic Mysterio. But Finn Balor's like, hey, priest, it's handled, it's done, I've sorted it out. Dominic, the Liv Morgan situation has been handled. And you feel like Finn Balor is potentially, like, I don't know, man. Finn Balor's taking a soft spot here for Dominic. The leader walks in, priest, and he wants to punish, he wants to discipline Dominic, but Balor basically tells him, no, look, priest, back off. I've handled this. So yeah, I mean it's definitely apparent right now that Damian Priest is the leader. Although I do think they're hinting towards a joint leadership between Priest and Rhea Ripley. Could we see Finn Balor try and reclaim the leadership? I don't know what's going on right now, but I will say this. The Judgment Day right now is more interesting than the Bloodline. 100%. We see a Dragon Lee promo up next. Dragunov also talks to Ricochet. Don't really remember what he said, so it couldn't have been that fucking interesting. We then got JD McDonough versus... we got Finn Balor, versus Dragon Lee. Finn Balor wins. Strowman came out, dropped McDonough, and the Judgment Day ran away for Big Braun. So Damian Priest says, look, Carlito, stop prospecting. It's time to man up. If you want to earn the patch, if you want to become an official member, then you need to go and you need to book a match with Strowman tonight in Pierce's office, and you need to take Strowman out. Fix this Strowman problem. Carlito says, that's not cool. And then R-Truth comes along and he says he feels Carlito's pain. He says being in the Judgment Day is like riding a roller coaster. When you're down, they keep kicking you. When you're up, they still kick you. But Truth says that being in the Judgment Day were the best days of his life. Miz can't believe he said that. And then Truth says that the Miz needs to stop because he's obsessed with the Judgment Day. It was kind of funny. But you know what you get with R-Truth. He's always funny. So, yeah, R-Truth, what a guy. It's a shame that he never really became a world champion, because I think he definitely could have been, especially in that, I don't know, that 2011, 12 run where he came out and he had like no music. He just came out with no music and he was like smoking cigarettes. That was pretty cool. That was cool R-Truth stuff. Right, then we got the Alpha Academy and Sami Zayn segment. Sami Zayn offers Chad Gable another shot at the title. He wants him to come out. The Alpha Academy minus Chad Gable come out. Maxine Dupree says they've got a message that they need to deliver. Sami says you don't need to do this. She tells the message from Master Gable, and the message is basically just running down the students. Sami Zayn then tells them all, you're better than this. It sounded like he was trying to give another Rocky Balboa speech. Knowing Rocky's talking to his son in Rocky Balboa, it kind of sounded a little bit like that. Gable then comes out, attacks Sami Zayn, beats him down, and then Gable wants Otis to hit Sami Zayn. He won't do it. Otis gets slapped by Gable. Then Tozawa pulls Gable away from Otis. Gable starts pushing Tozawa around. Maxine tries to intervene. Gable then tells Maxine to get on her knees and beg. I mean, giving me Trish Stratus, Vince McMahon vibes right here. I'd love Maxine to get on her knees in front of me, but whatever. She's begging Gable not to do this, and I'm surprised they went this far. But again, it's like the male-female thing. They can't have Gable push around Maxine like he was pushing around Otis and Tozawa. So I guess getting her to get on her hands and knees and beg is the next best thing. But I'm still kind of surprised that they done this because, you know, WWE can't really be controversial. You can't do anything that would be pushing the envelope these days. So we get that. Then Sami Zayn is recovering. He pushes Gable into Otis. Otis falls into the other two. They fall off the apron. They hurt themselves. This seems to piss off Otis. Gable says it was Sami Zayn's fault, and then Otis slams Sami Zayn. He carries the other two out. He's got Tozawa over his shoulder, and he's like carrying Maxine out, and then you've got Gable who's got the belt, and he's basically laughing at Sami Zayn, saying that, look, I'm the man, I'm the IC champion, I'm going to beat you. Then he goes backstage, and he's loving this. He thinks that they all done fantastic. They all tell him that we're not acting, you know, we legitimately feel this way, we're legitimately hurt, but Gable's not having any of it. Then he kisses Otis and says that I knew you were my prized possession. You're my number one pupil. And Otis is just standing there looking like a big retard. So, I mean, it was interesting. I'll give Chad Gable credit, man. He's been one of the better things on Raw. He's been one of the better things, I think, in WWE for the past 6 months, and he should have the Intercontinental Championship. He's more interesting than Sami Zayn, 100%. Braun Breaker then tells Adam Pearce that he would break Sami Zayn in half. Braun says he'll break anybody in half, and basically that nobody's going to hold Breaker back going forward, and he's still pissed off that he wasn't in the King of the Ring tournament. He then takes on Ricochet. The match actually wasn't that long. I think it should have been shorter, but in terms of wrestling matches, it was actually relatively quick. Braun Breaker destroys Ricochet, hits a great Hurricane Rana, Frankensteiner off the top rope, really good stuff, then hits the spear, looks dominant, it's going to take him out with the steel steps after the match, but we see Ilya Dragunov run in, he makes a stop, but look, Braun Breaker, what a guy, he's fantastic, should be a big star, and yeah, can't get enough of Breaker. I think this guy definitely is going to be world champion at some point, so Breaker, again, like I said, looking good, looking dominant, got the job done. Good to see. So Breaker defeats Ricochet. We then move into Rey Mysterio backstage segment. He's talking to Dragon Lee. Nothing really happening here. We got a Kathy Kelly backstage interview with the New Day. Cross tells Woods that after the match he'll no longer have to follow around Kofi and that he wants Woods to trust him. So I just cannot stand Karrion Kross. I don't care for Karrion Kross. I mean, who gives a shit? What's this guy trying to do? Recruit Xavier Woods to the Final Testament? What are we doing here? Get this guy in the bin. Then we got Kiana James taking on Natalya. A lot of the crowd were saying this was boring throughout the match. So the crowd were chanting boring, they were booing. And you heard WWE, they were messing around with the audio. So I think they were trying to block this out. Now maybe the booing was a lot louder than what we heard, because you could only faintly hear it. But originally, I mean, it was pretty loud, but then like quickly they turned it down. So I don't blame people for booing. I mean, it wasn't interesting. I mean, you've got Kiana James, somebody from NXT that nobody knows, and then you've got Natalya that nobody cares about. So it's a match between somebody that nobody knows and somebody that nobody cares about. So what have we got here, really? You know, throwaway match. Kiana James wins. It wasn't overly long. She won with the 4-1K to pick up the victory. So good for her, I guess. After the match, Natalya says, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Not quite Owen Hart there, but it is what it is. Then Sonya Deville appeared, and I don't know, maybe we're going to get some hot lesbian action. Who knows? Fifth match, Braun Strowman versus Carlito. So Carlito got the match made. Strowman wins. He defeats Carlito. Then Strowman is battering the Judgment Day. Dominic comes out, Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, he tries to get involved. Strowman's about to attack him, but then Liv Morgan comes out and she saves Dirty Dom. She saves her little, you know, Latino heat from getting battered by Big Strowman. And then we have the Judgment Day. It's actually weird. We've seen JD McDonough actually beat the shit out of Braun Strowman, albeit he had a steel chair, but you just never really see JD McDonough getting any offense. So to see him take out Braun Strowman, it was interesting. Liv Morgan continued to flirt with Dominic, yep, and then Balor had to step in and prevent her from, you know, making out with Dominic again. But at this point, looks like Dominic isn't really doing too much to prevent that. We got a shit promo with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, set up a tag team match. Nobody cares, seriously. Nobody fucking cares. Cole was trying to suggest that this is a premium live event quality match. No, it's not. I mean, this shouldn't even be a dark match. This match absolutely sucks. Two tag teams that just nobody wants to see. So yeah, screw that shit. We get the match. Tag titles on the line. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill taking on Baszler and Zoe Stark. We don't get the finish though because the Unholy Union come out and it turns out to be a 4-on-2 beatdown. I've heard rumours that it will be the Unholy Union versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for the titles at Clash at the Castle. I mean, looking at this, that could very well happen. We then had Kathy Kelly do an interview with Damian Priest. Basically, Damian Priest says he respects Rey, but if Rey keeps getting up, he's going to put him down. Rey's been a thorn in their side for a long time, and it's time to, I don't know, remove that thorn. And then he talks a little bit about McIntyre, and he says McIntyre appeared, and he's seen Priest, and he says to Priest, I'll see you soon. And he says he really wanted to help Priest at first, but now Priest has made it personal. So they're not giving as much McIntyre in the build-up to Clash at the Castle. I don't get it. This guy is in the world title picture. Yeah, he feels like a background character, man. It's very, very strange. Then Kathy Kelly asked Lyra Valkyria, well, how's Becky Lynch feeling? Where the fuck is she? She's retired. She's gone. She's finished. She's done. The contract is expired. And then Io Sky viciously attacked Lyra to conclude the interview. Didn't really care for that. JSO then cut a promo in the stands. He said he's going to climb the ladder, climb to the top of the ladder, snatch that briefcase and become Mr. Money in the Bank. Jey Uso, I mean, he's alright, man. He's got a decent wee theme song. He's definitely performing well since leaving the Bloodline. Yeah, I think the Bloodline is probably the best thing for him. You look at Jey Uso's career, how well it's went, and then you look at Jimmy Uso. I mean, Jimmy Uso has went backwards since splitting up with Jey, but Jey has arguably went forward. So, I mean, it's worked out for Jey, not so much Jimmy. We then get the 7th match, New Day versus Authors of Pain with the Final Testament. Authors of Pain win. Fuck the Authors of Pain. Akam and Race are just two big boring guys that I will never ever care about. Then the Unholy Union tell Jackie Redmond that Clash at the Castle is right around the corner and it would be a shame for them not to be on that card. It just sucks now that, look at this, they're Scottish, we've got a Scottish card coming up, so you have to be on it. Same thing with Piper Niven. Drew McIntyre, obviously, he's a top guy. He's one of the top main eventers in WWE. He should be at the top of every pay-per-view card, premium live event card. But these people, I mean, they don't deserve on shit, man. I don't care whether it's Scotland, America, Australia, Timbuk fucking 2. These guys shouldn't be getting a sniff of a spot on any premium live event. But, you know, because they're Scottish and it's in Scotland, they're going to give them it. Piper Niven sucks. The Unholy Union suck. There's nothing to suggest that any of them are going to get title shots. And then this premium live event rolls up in Scotland and title shots are just being dished out. You know, it makes no sense. It's dumb. And then main event, Damian Priest versus Rey Mysterio. Good match for the main event. Priest and Mysterio putting on a very, very good display. Damian Priest got the win. Mysterio, the way he moves at his age, he's phenomenal. The guy's what, 52, 53, maybe even older than that, I don't know. But the point is he's old. I know he's at least 50 now, and he's still moving better than fucking most of the guys on the roster. You would not think Ray's 50, honestly. I mean, he's not in his prime, we all know that, but he still moves at a really good level, and I would not oppose to one final Rey Mysterio world title run. I actually mean that. I think he could. I would give him it, but it won't happen. Then got the Judgment Day coming out. We got the LWO coming out. We had Carlito out there. You had Mysterio. You had some other guys. Dragon Lee was there. Then McIntyre came out. He headbutted Carlito. He was taking out all of the Judgment Day. Headbutts Carlito. Hits an overhead belly-to-belly on McDonagh. He clears the table. He tries to pick up the belt and then he fumbles the belt, which seems to be what Drew McIntyre's been doing for a long time now. Fumbles when he's almost the man. You know, he's about to win the Super Bowl and he just fumbles that final touchdown. So he dropped the belt by accident. Then McIntyre was talking smack to Cole. He got preoccupied, lost his attention, I guess, and then boom, Priest chokeslams him through the table, and that was it. McIntyre goes through the announce table, and the Judgment Day just stand over him. They look at his lifeless body, and McIntyre is just laying there. Judgment Day looking strong. It's been a good night for them. They defeated Dragon Lee. They defeated Rey Mysterio. They beat the shit out of Braun Strowman. Dirty Dom almost got laid. I mean, the Judgment Day did pretty well tonight, you know. And they took out Drew McIntyre, who is the challenger at Clash at the Castle. So, I mean, good night for the Judgment Day. And you know what? It was actually a pretty good night for Raw. I think it was one of the better Raws I've seen in a while. Is it the best Raw since WrestleMania? I mean, it very well could be. I thought there was some good stuff on the show. I enjoyed the opening segment. Very interesting. I also enjoyed the Alpha Academy stuff. I think Chad Gable doing a really good job at the moment. The main event, very solid match. Damian Priest versus Rey Mysterio. And there was a couple other good matches in there as well. Even Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. I mean, I wasn't a massive fan of it. I think it went a little bit too long. But it was a decent match, hard-hitting match. Sheamus always puts on good matches, always cuts a half-decent promo. And then just seeing Braun Breaker continuing to destroy people and just watching him decimate Ricochet. Nice Frankensteiner and, you know, a spear as well. So I thought Raw was decent. I'm going to give Raw... Yeah, I thought Raw was decent, so I will give Raw a 5 out of 10. I'm going to give a 5 out of 10. Just in the middle there. There was some good stuff. Too much, obviously, rubbish. Too much boring stuff. I mean, what would I cut out the show? pretty much everything that I didn't praise. New Day versus Authors of Pain, the women's tag team match, just do not need that. Natalia was pretty shit versus Kiana James as well. But I definitely think the first 2 hours of the show, I think the first half at least of the show was good. And obviously I like the finish too, but I think there was more boring stuff in the second half. That's when you got Natalia versus Kiana James. That's when you got the New Day versus Authors of Pain. You also got the women's tag team titles. So for me, the first half of Raw was definitely better than the second half. But the second half did have some moments with the Judgment Day. So yeah, I mean, it was decent. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, though, peace.